see if this is working. Nope. What's going on here? Come on. Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here. I should have enough time to stream tonight. Well, I'm going to finish what I'm going to try to do, no matter if I have time or not. But anyway, for the first 2 nights of the Thanksgiving holiday week, I will be streaming the back from the batch of 2004 photos that I just recently uncovered that I had not yet reprocessed. And some of these are fairly important. This is probably one of the more important ones. It's photos from a trip I took in March of 2014, or yeah, not 2014, 2004, to ride the Metro North ACMU cars. ACMU standing for Air Conditioned Multiple Unit, not AC Traction. And they were also known as the Metro North 1100 series, but in actuality, they were the New York Central 4600 and 4700 series. One of those things that I knew about from books as a kid, but never thought that they would still be running 50 years later. Well, it wasn't 50 years back then, it was 40 years, but who's counting? Anyway, I got them before they were retired. There was a real fun trip. I mean, was quite difficult. You had to get to New York by around 7:30 in the morning to Grand Central to catch an outbound express run to White Plains, because at that point in time they're only used for peak direction services, and this was one of the few reverse peak moves that they did. And since coming from South Jersey, it would have been almost impossible to get to White Plains in time to ride one inbound. I was lucky to catch this express move out to White Plains. Anyway, I have everything sort of stretched up. The car that I was in was number 1126. And like I said, over the years, these were renumbered multiple times. They were bought by MTA, Rockefeller money, as in New York State Governor Nelson T. Rockefeller, who started funding the commuter rail services in the New York City region. Long Island Railroad and Metro North. Long Island Railroad brought in the MP 75 zip cars. On Metro North, it brought in these 4600, which were owned by New York Central, and 4700, which were owned by the MTA. These got folded into Metro North. There was a whole bunch of renumbering, and then it became the 1100 series. The AC, again, standing for air conditioned, because those before with the clear stories did not have air conditioning. And of course, they bought the Bud Metropolitans, and then these were sort of the odd duck out. One of the few Pullman standard type cars to have any longevity, and definitely stood out. One of the last painted carbon steel MU cars running in the country. It is neat. I mean, if you're used to the M series of cars, or even anything today with quarter point doors, you just don't have this wonderful open, high ceiling, open atmosphere in this old boxy Pullman design that we see here. It takes a second to sort of set this up. Let's see who's here. I got some people. So, anyway. Got to have the drive warm up. This happens on my other computer too, so there we go. But I can save the quality a little bit better. Oh, I can save the quality a lot bit better. So these are actually, it's funny, these were timed exposures. I was using the seat back to try to get, this is again with my original 3 megapixel digital camera, of which I mention frequently. And these were, come on, there it goes. Now note, these are the old school style flip seats. I believe they had been disabled on Metro North, but on on SEPTA as well. Although I don't know if these flipped. I think they might have, because some of them were arranged in what I call the conference position. And it's a shame that flip seats aren't really a thing. NJT was the last real commuter railroad to still use the flip seat system. They still do on the single level stock. But now, apparently, I guess people don't mind riding in reverse. And as you can see here, these seats are in the flip position. Again, I don't know. Like on the MBTA, I know that on on some of the cars they had the seats. Some of the seats were back to back, flipped, but they were all bolted in place. So some of them had been bolted in this sort of what I call the conference position. Or maybe I just did it right here to show that the fact that they could do it. What the heck? Huh. Looks like I did 2 photos of this sort of tests. Well, I'm not going to delete one of them because they're equally good, and I'm not going to, there's no sense nitpicking over, I'm sure there's something interesting in all of these. Here we have MO Tower from the side. Again, let me go and try to find... I can find what I originally called this. I have a lot more photos of MO since then, since I've taken some trips there. MO Tower was notable for, a giant... Here it is. Wow, what a poor job I did of processing that back in the day. Really, really awful. Really awful. This is why I'm doing this. This had a big old GRS 5B model pistol grip machine. There's some videos online. Either New York Central or Metro North did a whole thing about or I think it was like an AAR how to run a railroad thing, and one of the bits shows MO Tower and the lever, them using the working the machine. Here we have a view of the cab. Even though they were leaving the inside door open, this was in the height of anti-photographer frenzy, and it wasn't even like, ooh, 9/11. 9/11 just gave New York people an excuse. It's what you get in heavily unionized environments. They just hate being monitored. Also notice right there, you can see it's the old, it almost looks like a trolley controller. These trains were quite simple. I'm just going to unresize and zoom in as best I can. Yeah, it's just a very narrow sort of contact controller with the dead man type handle, almost like you're in a subway car. At some point, the door was closed. Note the Penn Central lettering, which I think was also used by the New York Central. They just sort of adopted the New York Central used that Penn Central green as well, maybe a slightly different shade of it, shade, I can't remember. But the Penn Central font today shows up on the New Haven M8, the M8 cars. But that sort of going forward font for the pen, that became Penn Central. Oh, it looks like I got the car number wrong. It's 1124. So there was a whole interesting thing on these cars of some of them got rebuilt, other ones not so much. These cars predated cab signals on the line. So when they cab signaled, they only would I forget how many cars there were. I should look up, and I literally wrote most of the Wikipedia article on the class of class of those things. So hold on, let's see. Now they got some additional photos here. 1983, blah, 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 blah. MK, 34 cars were sent to MK for a rebuild with cab signals. Another 34 getting cars. So the 34 cars getting the rebuild, there were 26, I think there was 87. Yeah, 87 of these cars. And I think that only 86 of them made it into Metro North, period. So with they just sort of were in, you had non-cab signal equipped, they just couldn't lead with the non-cab signal equipped cars. I think they were also pretty slow, but oh, look at that HVAC. You know, they again, air conditioning was the selling point of these. Compared with, I said, with the clear story cars that lacked it. Although, you know, being able to open your window would be pretty nice too. And also here we see some very exciting fluorescent lighting. Another fun thing, like I said, within the train you can see that the end doors are all kept open. None of that sort of hard to pass between cars stuff like you see on the M1s. You could just walk straight through. Even easier, you know. Looks like they kept all the interior doors open. I mean, it's winter. I guess you don't need the air conditioning or the heat or whatever. I mean, this is just old school fun, man. This was riding. I wish I got to ride these more. It was an absolute blast. And look at the snow all coming up between the oh man, this is an insurance nightmare. That's just too cool. Now this is why I fight against safety culture, and I wish what everybody else would fight against it too. It deprives so much fun in life of just being exposed to the raw everything. Snow, no accordion grates, open doors, people are responsible for themselves. You know, it's just nice. So nice. Other things. This is now, the FRA doesn't allow this anymore. Thank you, mother. But they ran with the doors open. These still had now again, Metro North is all high level. But I don't think they had train line doors. So they just ran with the doors open, because why not? You know, it's great. You know, they're just going to rely on people not to fall out of the open door. So some idiot fell out of like an MBTA train and died, and instead of just being like, well, shouldn't have fallen out of the MBTA train and died. You know, they're all like, well, now you can't do that. It's like, well, it didn't hurt anybody else. Here we have some of the, this is on the White Plains line, showing some of the original pole line electrification stuff. Not high voltage like the PRR, of course. Up there goes with the first batch. Let me just make sure I delete the right ones here, which is always a fun problem to have. Next batch. Anywho, as you can see, ahead of my this was not the only thing I did this day, but we'll get to the New York City subway stuff. I mean, that's one of those things you do this little jaunt so early in the morning, and suddenly you got the whole rest of the day ahead of you. Again, here we see, again. This is a neat thing because the doors on the internal doors, the end when you open the storm door, this sort of happens on SEPTA, but on these cars, the open storm door completely enclosed the operator controls. SEPTA, it obscures them, but in this door, it formed an actual seal, like they might as well have not been there. Really, that's a damn good design. Also note the open door. One second. Yeah, this is sort of said everything I need to say for this one. All right, here we go. Next. Yep. Again, close up of the foot plates. Oh, here we have a better picture of that closed cab door. I have to rename that other one now. Probably deleted that initially. So I'm sure people in New York, I mean, at least in the Philly area, we got the silver liners. Oh, we got a drop sash window. And mind the gap. I'm not sure if this was at White Plains or not. Oops. Let's see what else we got going on. Ah, that was at White Plains. So here we are. I'm pretty sure it ran like almost completely expressed to North White Plains. Again, here we see the side with the new number. Not sure what happened, why there are only 68 and why the where the other bunch went, or 20 or so went. Oops. I forget when I said this was March 18th. Wow, this is a pretty late snowstorm. Not unheard of, but You know, you don't see that too much these days. Hey, it's the F end of number 1124. Another of these things, these are all single units. Something else you don't see these days. Although it is nice SEPTA has some single unit Silverliner 5s. I should open up that other one. I just want to also point out no accordion gates, and no multifunction couplers. These had to be coupled the old, or they at least had to have the airline connected the old-fashioned way. Look at that! I didn't even notice that. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, these had tight lock AAR couplers, but they were not multifunction, and you had to actually hook up the MU cables. These were last in everything. They were the last to have the carbon steel. They were the last to have traditional couplings for MUs. Possibly the last things that the pole. By the way, this is the same body style as the MP75 Zip cars. And some of the Long Island, those were converted to coaches. And then the Long Island, when those got dumped by the Long Island Railroad in the late 1990s for the C3s, some of those P75 coaches then made it onto the tourist line circuit. A couple of these, only 2 of these were preserved. They're up at the Danbury Rail Museum. I'm pretty sure they could still move if necessary. No transformers mean, you know, they usually keep them intact. One other thing that these were probably were the last thing to, you know, the last thing to have. These don't have ditch lights. But how did that work, you ask? Well, ditch lights are you only need ditch lights to go a certain speed over grade crossings. There are no grade crossings on the Metro North between Croton, on the Hudson line below Croton, and on the Harlem line below White Plains. It's not a problem. They never needed them. They were only restricted from going on the Harlem line north of White Plains. So there you go. So what am I doing here? What's going on? What the heck? Oh, that's the problem. Gotta level this guy out a little bit. Might need to be a little straighter. There it goes. I'm gonna pop the color on that just a tad. Probably gonna. What name did I use for this? Oh, I don't know which number this was. That's the problem. It's not 1126. It's something else. I really should have gone on the farewell trip for these. Probably the last time, there wasn't really any other farewell trips they were doing. Oh boy, now I'm in this stupid pickle of not knowing what things are. I wonder if I didn't even bother to note down what this is. It's a mystery wall. Kevin Walsh would know. Looks like some sort of theater. What was I even riding on? I was on the F, I'm pretty sure, because I think this is Kings Highway. To the schematic track diagram. Let's go to cut to interlocking. Division B2 IND. I'm pretty sure this was the Culver. Yeah, this is Kings Highway. This church. It's Ditmas. Kings Highway. I'm pretty sure it might still be in service. It's got a GRS machine there. Sorry, I'm just trying to read through this. But yeah, this is where it goes into Coney Island Yard. Let's take a quick tour here. Down to Coney Island real quick. There's your giant subway rail yards and the Culver line. There's Avenue X, Avenue U, and Kings Highway. Some up there. Somewhere around here is Avenue. I think there's an Avenue Q. Anywho, I guess this is the Culver line. Not sure how I do stuff like that. We have Kings Highway. I'm pretty sure this is facing... Where would this have been facing? Let's go back to our diagram. So it's on the south side. Where would I be standing? This almost doesn't make a lot of sense. Am I looking at this right? Oh man, I can't tell which direction this is facing. All right, let's go back to the diagram here. Avenue P, Avenue F. Where's Kings Highway? Come on. Did miss something else. NP Kings Highway. Here we go. Maybe this isn't the Culver line. Let's keep looking. Usually when this becomes an issue. Here, let me look on my what line is this? 'Cause this is back in 2004. There was a lot more towers open. But I always thought this was Kings Highway. All right, let's check a quick thing in my tower log here. Man, this stream just hit a brick wall. Oh, you're right. That's not Kings Highway. What is it? It's not West 4th. There's the old Fifth Ave. I'm just going to scooch through these. I'll find it in a second. 111th, Bowling Green, Canal, World Trade, Church, Ditmas, E180th, Hamels Y. Oh, nope. Dig this out in just a second. Running out of stuff here pretty quick. Roosevelt, South Ferry. Ah, nuts. What did I call it? Oh, here we go. Well, this is irritating. Oh, that's right. I was, I think that this would have been something on the BMT division. Probably the West End line. Not Bay Parkway. Probably Bay 50th. Let's check. Let's see if I can go over to Bay 50th. I think that's Bay 50th and not Kings Highway. Come on. Bay 50. Bay 50th, I think, was behind the station. Unless it's right there. Alright, come on. Let's hopefully this is, no, that's the one. Infrastructure, towers, still thinking about it. I think this is a West End line tower. Bay Parkway. I bet it's Bay Parkway. Well, that's causing that to lock up too. Anyway, I think this is Bay Parkway. And if I had the listing, I'd be able to confirm that. There's clearly some sort of yard going on here. What the heck is this? The only thing it's trying to now catalog 5,000 tower photos to put them in the appropriate order, and my whatchamacallit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was Bay Parkway. So 1 second, I just got to confirm if this stupid thing doesn't lock up. I'll just go into Bay Parkway and see if it's there. Now that's it's the Sea Beach Bay Parkway. Where's the West End Bay Parkway? Culver Bay Parkway. West End line. Here we go. Yeah, it's there it is. Yeah, it's Bay Parkway. All right, it's mystery solved. See, that's why you look at the diagram. You don't just force it. You don't be like, I'll let it go. Now this is thanks for the thanks for the confirmation there in the chat. Now, I don't know if it was still open at this time. Well, actually, I can check. I can go to this diagram. So this wonderful PDF I have of all, it's 2009, I think, or maybe a little bit later. It's a diagram of all the New York City subway interlockings. After this got out, they split it up so that no one person can, like, they're so tight with information in the MTA based things that they actively try to make it hard for people to get this sort of stuff. Yeah, this was placed in service in 2002, so I just missed it by 2 years. But there was a maintainer's control panel in that, I think in the tower. And sorry, it's they had a platform dispatcher. Let me just keep hitting B here till I get down to Bay Parkway. There. Oh, I think it's 62nd. Now, there's Bay 50th. I think this is 62nd Street. Yeah, it's 62nd. At least that's what my thing says. So I guess we were both wrong. All right, let me. Where did I find that? So I knew I'd be able to find it pretty quickly, but I just didn't have the stuff here. So what was I doing? Oh, I guess I got 3 photos of it for some reason. I'll keep the same names. But yeah, I looks like I just missed this by 2 years. But again, had no real way to go and photograph this stuff pre-digital camera. Photograph it effectively. Well, sorry for that little interruption. Let me go. Where is this? This is Bay Parkway. Let me see if I get a Wikipedia article here. I forget what was running on the line back. Someone said, I said for some reason I thought it was what is it? Is it? It's a D now? Has it always been a D? West End line. I thought it was the B. Service history, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, 2001 Manhattan Bridge reconstruction, the B service. See, that's one of those things I learned about the New York City subway when the Manhattan Bridge was down. So all my concept of what runs on what is sort of all screwed up. So it was the B, and then it became the W, and then the D. I don't even know. Whatever. 62nd Street. D. All right. Continuing on. Yeah, I guess it was a D at this time. 272775 here, which is one of those damn R68s. I have no idea what this would be. It's probably one of those things in the infrastructure zone. Let's back to the map of where we're looking at. No, that's Bay Parkway. Oh, there it is. So there's that sweeping curve at after 18th Street and before 20th. 18th Avenue, I meant. Yep, 79th, 62nd, 79th, there he goes. So this would be like the 18th Avenue curve or something? Curving onto 86th Street. So... we don't know. What am I using for my nomenclature? New York City Subway or New York City Transit Authority? I can't remember. Oh, that's arranged by date now. What am I for infrastructure? I can't tell. Whatever. These are probably the signals for, let's see, the D562 signal. So we go to our interlocking diagram. Next, 62nd Street. D562. 520, 570. There it is. D562 is Bay Parkway. So it's Bay Parkway interlocking signal D562 and D556. It's all easy when you have the cheat sheet. It's D562 sig plus D556 sig angle SNU done. So here's a they have a name, but this is the famous apartment complex where the Chase and the French Connection started. Some sort of public housing facility. They have a name. I don't really care about the name. I'm just going to call them like the French Connection houses. Where are they? Culver Line. West End Line. They'd be on the north side. I guess they're on the south side. So I don't know what I'm talking about. 79th, you're on the curve. Yeah, that's the only housing apartment complex that... Oh, yeah, that's right. It curves there, and then they're on the right side. Right there. Yep. think I got a couple. I got a bunch of photos of these things. Probably deleted that one, but I'll save it this time. So yeah, the West End line, for anyone who doesn't know, was the featured line in the French Connection, where Gene Hackman was chasing a B train with his car underneath the L. Oops. Oh, here we go. You always can tell. At least to get a signal number. Switch number 657A, probably Bay 50th. So let's roll down to Bay 50th. 657A. Yep, there's 657B, 657A. Not sure what to really call this because there's not much of the switch actually there, but Bay 50th interlocking. Here we see the Bay 50th tower, just the top of it. I'll crop this down just a tad. I don't need to see all that sky. And again, this was closed at this time. Like I said, I just missed the resignaling. The 677B switch. I think those are General Railway Signal Model 4 switch machines. What is that beyond? It looks like some sort of double slip. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the 677B and then the 673, 675 double slip. What was it? Wrong line. 673, 675. Oh, this is the double slip just on its own. Nice, there's still a few double slips on the subway. Next, getting down there, almost done. I'm only gonna be doing 3 sets tonight. It's only a 70 photo total, so I'm gonna split it up over 2 nights. Here we have the Coney Island Yard, and this is the bridge over something. Some sort of parking lot or a street. We'll have to go in and identify it. Past the houses, past Bay 50th. And it looks like it's right there. That would be just unnamed street going to the high school. The Dewey High School driveway. Oh, Coney, what is that? Oops. How is that? Is that it? Oh, you got one more. One more. Yep, you got some D trains there. Boo. I wonder if they've been renumbered. They keep doing that. All right. Oh, I should probably change that name to reflect so you can see the shops in the back. All right, there we go. That's everything for today. Tomorrow we will probably finish with some New York City subway stuff, rolling through Coney Island Yard. Not sure if that's a tower or not. Stillwell, D trains, back up on the B where you used to have a rail fan and window, but not anymore. And up to Manhattan and then some NJT. So anyway, look forward to that tomorrow. I will be back. Probably late. It's probably going to be around this time. Anyway, looks like we got this wrapped up in an hour despite the delays. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Am I calling this all Culver Line? Oh gosh, what am I doing here? Oh shoot. That's right. I was on the West End. I need to rename all these things. Just give me a second. What am I doing here? Watch me rename these files. Let me know if I did anything else wrong. I got all the locations right. I was just calling it I had it in my mind that it was the Culver Line, but you're right. It's all West End. I can't remember what I did back in 2004. All right, I'll see ya. Have a great night, everyone. And I said I'll be back tomorrow about probably around 11 o'clock.